Good morning. So normally I wouldn't be streaming this um, because it's kind of the same thing I was doing Friday and Sunday. But Sunday I was on on my other channel, and Friday, I need to focus. I don't want to let myself get distracted, and that is one thing. If a lot of times in the mornings there's not a ton of I don't have a ton of people on here, but it does make me stay on task if there's not a lot of people to chat with. Now, if there's people to chat with, but at least I'm still on the task. I don't get myself wandering off and doing other things, pulling a SpongeBob, and just being unable to, you know, uh, I don't know. You'd have to know SpongeBob to know what I'm talking about. When it comes to procrastinating, there was a pretty good episode of SpongeBob where he was procrastinating his way through the day. And it's, I mean, it wasn't even so much that it was SpongeBob, right? It's just a reference because everybody has trouble procrastinating. And it was a really good SpongeBob episode because everything he did was things everybody does when they procrastinate. They're like sit there, they're ready to get to work, and then they look over there, and then there's that thing, and then there's that thing, and then before you know it, you're like days just zipping through, and you're just not getting things done. And so yeah, I've got to get my focus, and so sometimes just streaming will at least get my focus going. Sometimes I don't need it. Sometimes it's almost better if I don't stream because streaming can be more the distraction. It just depends on what I'm doing and the time of day and what the task is. So right now I am just doing some refactoring. It's not just refactoring. I'm implementing new things as I go, but it's kind of like, okay, well, as I iron out and straighten out certain functionalities, I'm still trying to get like a lot of my items to work for what I'm trying to accomplish. So one of them is like getting the run game and the coach functionality all working. But a lot of that required me to do things like tweak my game state and play results in a way that makes the most sense, creates the least amount of redundancy. I don't want to have duplication going too often. Like you can see, I have the game ID here, and it's in the game session. But that's mostly because the game ID is the ID of the game session, so it has to be there. And here it's just for quick references. If all I'm using is the game state, I can just grab the game ID from it, or the play result, I can just get the game ID from it. Because there are times when I'm only working with one of those objects, and oftentimes I could just pull what I need if there's something else I need if I have the game ID. So that's why it's there. But I had some things I was pulling it up to the game state and saying, hey, let's just include it there so I can pull it off of there without having to get it from the play result. And generally, if I'm passing the game state, it has the last play. What the heck? What is that? Generally, if I'm passing a game state, I'm passing the last play result. So it's one extra, reference to go in and grab the item right off the play result. So there's no point in having it in both. It's not that much extra coding or complexity. I rarely pass a game state without that stuff. Now there's times when I have like a response object that may have parts of a game state, and that's different. But okay, so I just gotta get this refactored and get this fully tested again so I can get it checked in and move on to the next thing, which really a lot of what this week's going to be, or at least for the next day or two, if I get all this let's just say when I get all this stuff compiling again and checked in and working, I got to go in and start working on the game plans and the plays to get enough of them into the system now that I've kind of got those tools. But I have a feeling they're also going to result in me finding things. Like I've never created a defensive play or a defensive game plan. So I don't know how well those things are fully implemented on the front end. I've set it up for offense. Plus, I haven't done any special team stuff. So there's a good chance I'll be working and tweaking those features and functionalities as well. So I can have a complete offense, defense, and special scenarios. I don't want to call them special teams plays because really every play is an offensive and defensive play. Every single play is an offensive, defensive play. Now there are scenarios that require special handling, and that's what I call like special situations, not special teams. So, or what things like timeout calling. When do you go for the 2-point conversions, which is kind of like that, but you don't have all of the other parameters like fourth down and 2 and blah 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 blah, because 2-point conversion is just a 2-point conversion. When do you go for it, when do you not, and what plays do you want to call? So it's a much smaller data set of what you need for that. Plus you got what are you going to choose for the coin flip? Maybe you have some special scenarios. I got to be able to see if I can figure out a way to provide what conditions you might have. You might just say, I want to always pick heads on the opening kick. So if it's your choice, because home team chooses. I think it's home team chooses when for the opening kick, and it's visiting team chooses on overtime. So they are slightly different options. So I'll have to have two, like an overtime choice and a opening kickoff choice. Really, it's just flip a coin. If you win, this is your choice: receive or kick. And then I think there were some other scenarios. I don't remember what they were. I think there was only like a handful of options, right? Okay, let's get this done. All right, so I have to pass. Why doesn't this? I cannot use team 1 details variable of type team info as API team details value and struct literal. But isn't this team info? Oh, wait a minute. So these are coming back as team info. Oh, get team details. Okay, so get team details. I think I actually want them to be team details. Why do I have it? Why am I doing team info? Let's go here. I don't even know it. Return team info object. Why? Get team by ID. I don't know why I have to. What is the problem? What are you complaining about now? Wait a minute. It's not defined. Why is it not defined? I don't even know where is team info defined. All right, let's go up here to my proto. Game store, playing game. Team details. I don't have a team info. How do you mean it's not defined? Where the heck is team info defined? It's like, that's not defined. Well, what the heck is that? I can try to do this and see if it matters. It's possible I changed it, but I don't think I did. All right, let's go find team info. Where is team info defined at now? Team, where is that? Simulator. Where is it? Add team to get. Oh, I do have a team info. Is that a thing? Team. Where is that? I don't know where it's getting this. Is that? Oh, here's the struct. Where's the struct for this? It's in the streamer. Oh, there's all kinds of stuff in there. Unknown field, size cache. State team ID. Huh. I didn't know you could have. Why? Why is the team info struct defined in the streamer? Oh, this is PB. Oh, I don't want it. Oh, so streamer has it? Why does streamer have that? And why is it defined as an object in simulator? It seems backwards. Ugh. Oh, here we go. Team info struct is here too. Why do I have two team? I don't understand why I'm doing some stuff. What is my problem? Why am I doing this twice? It's defined. Why is that even in my store? It's not even in my store. It's my service. See, that wouldn't be so bad if this was in the right place, because then I could understand why I'm doing this. Let's go put this in the types. I'm sorry, it's supposed to be in the types. So if I put team info here, then what the heck is my team details? I mean, why do I need both? I don't think I need both. Team details is the same exact thing. What the heck? See, there are definitely things about using AI. All right, so simulator should have a team details. Okay, so there's team details. Are they the same? If they're the same, I don't need both. And I might just change this to team details and call everybody good. Simulator. Team details. Okay. It's ID, name, and user ID. That's all it is. So let's change this. That means my game session should be team details as well. Oh, it is. Geez, I already set that to the right thing. Wow. Okay. I was just making my life complicated. All right, so we took that out of there. See, this sometimes it just got to do cleanup. When you do the original stuff and you're just throwing it out there, making it work, that's good to get yourself kind of some flow. But at some point, you're going to have to go back and the earlier the better. The soon as you start having things kind of functional and you're like kind of at that gate, everything's kind of working, that's when you got to get things cleaned up, because from that point on you start progressing. You don't want to have a big mess to clean up. You could do it during like what I call the POC, or the proof of concept, or the not even proof of concept at that point. You've got a sample or whatever, you know. There's another word I'm thinking of, but anyway, the idea is that, you know, when you get to that point where you've actually got something functioning, you want to be able to make sure you get it nice and clean so that you can progress without, and have a structure now that all of your working stuff can sample off of. And now, as I'm starting to understand a lot more how things are assembled, it's a lot easier for me to go back and make these changes. And know that, okay, well, if this breaks or that breaks, I shouldn't be too far off the mark. So, all right, so this should still got these coming up as team details, which means it still doesn't like. These are now coming back as team details. It's not complaining about them. That's coming back expecting team details. Alright, variable type team details as API team details value instruct literal. Alright, so at least we're on the same path. So what's it want me to do here? API? No. I'm not sure what it wants me to do to fix that, but what is this thing? Undefined. Get team. Wait a minute. I do have a get team by ID. I created it earlier. Oh, it might not be defined somewhere. So get team by ID is probably in the store. Yeah, it's not here. Okay. Oops, I need the whole definition. I could probably do it this way. Am I missing something? Cannot use store as simulator value and return statement. Store does not implement simulator store. What do you mean? It's like simulator store does not implement simulator store. Wait, what? Sometimes I go for it, the self-solve. Sometimes I just let AI kind of like, that is your problem. I probably just don't have it declared somewhere. Oh. Where? Get team by ID method. Fix this, you need to implement the get team by ID method in the store struct. Wait, I don't have that? I could have swore I did this already. Huh. I don't know how I managed to not have that. Thing is, here's another thing. get team by ID should not be handled here. But here's the problem. I don't have a location that handles my teams yet because I haven't created the league page, and I don't have anything that handles the teams. I mean, here's the thing. You can do a head-to-head, so you're not always in a league. So if I have the league service handle teams, they don't necessarily it doesn't mean the teams are in the league. So if I handle teams as a separate object, do I even bother with a league service? Maybe I have teams and then I can have a service that puts them in a league. Because I don't think I want to have a league service and a team service. What does a team do? A team, the question is there enough functionality to componentize it into a singular service? Because a team on its own is either part of a league or it's running in a game. So it's either doing something, but what can you do to a team? You can add, remove, draft. But how would you, if you're drafting, that's league, right? You can add players, but maybe players and teams should be part of the same object. Maybe I don't have a players service. Huh. Let's go talk to AI. Let's go talk to a smart AI and just kind of see what its suggestion is, because I'm just kind of like not sure. I'm not sure of the best way to approach this. So let's go to Claude. Oh, well, yeah, let's go to Claude. I was going to go to it to my... I haven't been to an online AI in a while. Wait. Log in. Why is it Claude Haiku? Oh, so you can't even use 3.7 on this one. What? Well, that's because I'm not paying, but... Haiku just means it's brief. There, you can't use any of these things. Alright, let's go here. Let's just see if this Claude has a... I'm going to ask the thinking Claude. Hold on, I gotta check something fast. Okay, so yeah. Currently trying to, I'm just trying to figure out how best to handle this. I mean, I'm not sure that even asking AI is going to matter, because I have a better concept of what my game is going to do than AI does, right? I mean, I can tell it as much as I can, but I don't want to have more services than necessary, breaking it down too far. And let's see. Well, here's kind of what the question so far is. Currently trying to figure out the best approach to this game's next few services. Currently, I need to determine which service would be best to handle teams. I also have a plan for a player service where I will track their hey, thanks for the follow, man. Demarian, how you doing? I also have a plan for a player service where I will where I will track the teams they are on, as well as their skills and their experience as they progress, and the player cards, and those cards leveling aspects. I also have plans for a league service where teams will be, of course, referenced. Will be, of course, referenced. But not all teams, especially at the beginning, will be associated to a league. Perhaps a user only wants to do head-to-head tournament and playoff functions that don't require a league. Let's see what AI says. Do I have teams manage on their own? Do I just have them in the players? Yeah, I don't know. I'm really kind of struggling, going back and forth, trying to figure out the best grouping for this. Do I create another service? Do I have a team service, a player service, a league service, which would be the last three services I currently have in mind? Or do I just add teams to the players or the league service? Or maybe teams are just an entity that's everywhere and everybody handles teams. I don't know. Because it's like, is there a special... I don't know. And then there's the user account. Now, there's that. And that is kind of a where I started at. Because below, can't talk. The user account, every player, every user who joins is going to get a team immediately. So they just have a team. It's associated with their user account. And I guess if you ever get more teams, you can add them. Then you can put them in a league. You can play them with whatever. They can go. Maybe that's a good. Maybe it's just go with my original design. Is just manage them in the user account. Oh, well, yeah, that's not good. Get team by ID. That's kind of cool. I didn't even see it did that. Wait a minute. Okay, so I have two get team by IDs. I have the store, which is get team by ID, which is not. And then I have a get team by ID. What the heck? Where is this? The get team by ID implementation in store.go. Okay, well that's not good. I obviously have to get team by IDs. Fix for get team by ID in the simulator service. So yeah, I have. No wonder simulator service is all wonky. Get team by ID. Why is it? Why is it doing that? Find one. S.games. Why is it looking at the games? Alright, well, this is store.go. That is weird. Why did it do that? I don't have it in two places. I just didn't realize I was in the store.go. I thought I was in the service. Player service form. But this isn't getting it from... Oh, it is getting it from the user client. Oh. Okay. Maybe the other one wasn't. But, okay, so this... User account service client. Why... Create client. All right, so I guess we're going to keep it in the team. Let's keep them in the user account. It makes sense because it's its own entity, and you're going to add players to it. You're going to build your team. The team can be added to a league. A league can be created around it. I haven't quite figured out. See, here's the one thing that's going to be kind of weird. I want to allow people to join or create leagues with other players, right? I also don't necessarily want players to duplicate in a league. Which is going to be hard, right? Like if you have a team that's got some set players and you join a league with 5 of your friends or 5 people in the random world, and they're going to have some players that you have. Even if I gave everybody, I tried to make it as different as possible and vast as possible for the teams and how unique each team is to start. I still would have to come up with a way to have leagues with other players where you don't have duplicate players. What I've almost thought of is allowing it, but if you release a player, certain players can't be traded because you wouldn't be able to trade to teams that have that player already. So you could release a player and he becomes unavailable to everybody. You still have the card, you still own the card, but if you release them, they're gone. but I want to be able to allow, so you could come in and you might be playing against some of the same players. But if as the league goes on, like drafts will only have players that nobody has on their team, and you're going to get players that way. If you want to make a trade, it has to be for a player you don't have on your team, obviously. It's gonna be weird. I'm not totally sure how I want to do this. I'm trying to figure out how I want to be able to let people, once you have a player on your team, you get the card for that player. But I also want to, I got to be careful. I got to figure out how to do that in a way that doesn't become a manipulation of the game. Right? Hey, let's just join a league together and we'll just trade a bunch of cards until everybody has all these cards, and then we'll quit the league or something, and they'll join another league, and then they'll just try to collect their collection by joining teams and trading players. So that's not that's manipulation, but it's people do it. So I don't want to do that. Or maybe once a team is on a league, it's stuck there. So yeah, you might be able to trade for stuff, but you don't have any other teams, and the only way to get another team is to buy another team. You get one team, you can join a league, you can even play quick plays with it, but it is the only team you get. So unless you buy another team, you can play the entire game with a league. You can do your career, do whatever, build it up. And maybe trading isn't even an option until you're able to do until you have a full roster, which means you have to actually get yourself into a regular league, build up enough cards that still think it gets manipulated because you just end up with a ton of cards. I want the cards to be kind of sort of hard to get. And I got to figure out a way to do that. And if all you're going to do is join a league with a bunch of people and then just trade a bunch of cards, and I don't want to do that. There's got to be some way to get trading in. Maybe you don't automatically get the card. Maybe the card has to earn. You have to earn. If it's on your team, you have to. Yeah, maybe that's the best way. Like, you can trade players, but you don't get the card for them right away. You would have to earn like a base amount of experience on those players. The same way all players earn experience, either by playing them, training them, whatever. But you got to build up a base amount of experience before you get the cards. So you can't just trade a bunch of cards because it's going to take you some time to build them up. And your team's stuck in that league, so you're going to have to play that league for a while before you can even get there, because it's going to take time to train them. So, and then if you want to get other, so yeah, you could maybe manipulate it a little bit, and maybe cards that you just got, you can't trade them away immediately. Like, you can't just like trade a guy, then trade him back, and then trade again. You got trade deadlines, and guys that you've already traded can't be traded again. Yeah, I think I can do it. I think that'll work. So you don't actually get the card for a player until they've earned at least a base amount of experience. And that'll kind of slow down the manipulation process of trades. And since trades will have their own caps and limitations, so when a player is traded, you don't have to come up with a new contract. I think you just take their whole contract with them. And that's part of the deal. So that means you also got to be able to afford them on your team, right? You want to get a really good player. You can't just say, oh, I want to trade for that card. Well, yeah, you might get the player, but you got to cough up enough of your own stuff to balance it out, because your salary cap is going to have to allow that player to be on the team. I think we're okay. I think I can figure it out. I think it's just a matter of having some limits on cards, and you don't just get them simply by having them on your team. Maybe through drafts or free agencies, or those can be kind of more immediate or quicker. But cards through trades, they have to earn their keep on your team before you can get them, before you can keep them. And maybe even through, it might be the same for all cards. They shouldn't be auto. Maybe what I'll do is I'll show a card on your collection that you have it, and it'll slowly get color. You just got 5% color, 10% color, 30, 20% color, and it just slowly fills in, and eventually you get the whole card by way of using the card. So if you happen to have multiple teams and you've got this guy on multiple teams, the only way you would have a card, once you have the card, you can put it on any of your teams in the course of building a team if you're starting a new team. But if the card isn't full of yours, you can't put them on the team. So the only way you'd get them on another team and have two teams with the guy on them is like you got them through a trade or a free agency or some other thing, got them onto the teams, and you're still trying to charge them up to get a full card. So now if you have two teams working with that guy, it'll charge faster because you got two ways to go. But again, teams after the first are extra. But I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to block people from being able to have other teams. I don't want to make people have to have another account. You could, but then your collections are separate. So it's going to be a lot harder to build up. If you want your extra teams to matter in your overall collection, you got to buy the team. If you don't care, you just want to have multiple accounts, you can always build multiple accounts, but the accounts aren't going to be linked in any way. And I'm talking about game accounts, like if you want to build up two totally different accounts, have your accounts play each other, whatever, you can do that. But again, you're going to have that same problem of players have to be built up on both sides. All right, let's get back to it. Run game. How close are we on this anyway? Still got a lot of red on here. Why is team details not allowing me to do this? So I broke out. All right, so we don't need game ID because this is going to be get next play results. Initialize a new game session when game ID is not provided. But don't I have initialize game already? But that's probably not a game. Is that a game session? Maybe I just do the same thing. Because streamer service, I think, has an initialize game. Get game status. Which I'm not fond of it doing the thing anyway. So I'm just trying to organize my stuff to put it in the right places. Get game status, join game, add random team, all part of the streamer. Create game. Create game creates a new game associated with the creator's user ID. But this is a streamer game. Start game. Start game tells simulator to start the game. Which is what? Run game? If streamer key is provided, set a game ID, look up the game. Reset game? Reset game, tell simulator to reset the game. I don't even know what reset game is. What the heck is reset game? Connect to simulator service. Fail to connect. I don't know what the heck is a reset game? I don't think I need that. I don't think I'll ever call reset game. That's not, why would I reset a game? You either play it out or you delete it or whatever, because most streamer games are going to be, they're just kind of like a sort of a for fun sort of kind of thing. There's not a lot going on as far as that goes. It'd be interesting to be able to do like streamer leagues. have streamer teams go head to head. It's like Joe streamer and Mike streamer having their game going on at the same time, and their two teams are battling it out. That'd be kind of cool. So while you're doing your thing, you can go, "Oh, this is so and so off of whatever," and I'm playing his team. That would be that'd be a cool feature, but that maybe not right away. But because I don't know how I would set that up, because it's kind of like a head-to-head. I think if you're going to do that, you just do a head-to-head, right? You just set up a head-to-head with your team versus their team, and it's going to do the same thing. It's not a streamer thing. Might be interesting to be able to, yeah, but even then, you do a head-to-head with your coach. You just pick your plays. Yeah. Now, if you, the only difference is, the only way that would be different, it'd be like if you have two streamers that are fairly popular and they have a lot of viewers, you could have their viewers versus the other team's viewers using your team. So you both would have your team and they would be calling in the commands, because all streamer games are is they allow for viewer chat commands to manipulate the game. That's the whole point of a streamer game, to allow your viewers to have some input. So if you have your ID of your game, yeah, there's a lot of stuff to work out there if I'm going to do that, because there's a lot of things, and I don't want to get too far into that weeds right now. But I think it'd be cool to be able to have two streamers. Again, they have to be really into football. I don't know how many streamers are out there doing football games of that sort. They have to like my game enough to do it. You know, there's a lot of aspects to, getting that kind of thing to have any real following, but still, it's kind of a cool idea in concept. All right, so where is the initialize? Get user client, simulator client, that's fine. We all need to do that, but the only one that's got me going is, what the heck is this start game? So we get simulator, and then we get game by streamer key. And then we have simulator client start game. So what is a start game versus a... I think that's just what I have in the service. Service, get game session, add team to game, start game. Start game initiates the game. Load game session based on rules for the specified year. See, that's not what I don't think that's... I could see my run game being turned to start game, and then I have, because the name would be better. Set up initial game session. See, yeah, this is doing all the stuff that's doing. And I don't see, it feels replicative. Replicative? Simulator, start game response. Ariano. You don't, yeah, you'd have to know the reference. It's not, try not be SpongeBob. Oh, try not, that's supposed to be not to be SpongeBob. Let's change that. Okay, so SpongeBob is a cartoon that my kids used to watch a bunch. And I liked it because SpongeBob is stupid. There's a lot of goofy things in that cartoon, and it used to be really popular. In fact, I don't know if they're still playing SpongeBob, but kids generally love SpongeBob. If you ever see a stream or anybody going 3 hours later, and it's got this like kind of psychedelic look, and it just big white letters, 3 hours later or 1 hour later or whatever it is, that's a reference to SpongeBob, because that was what SpongeBob did a lot whenever they were passing a quick bunch of time. I'll get this done in a couple minutes. 5 hours later. And that was this thing would pop up, and then it would show him But so Try Not to Be SpongeBob is a reference to an episode where SpongeBob is trying to get some work done. He has to get something done, and he is distracted by everything around him. Classic procrastination, and it's just one of those things that you're referencing because you know the reference. And SpongeBob is just funny. I mean, he's just him and Patrick and all the guys. I don't know if it was, hey, thanks for the follow. Call me something. Thanks for the follow. But anyway, so it comes down to call me Rosie. Oh, okay. I saw that. Thanks. Appreciate it. Call me Rosie. So you could probably find a reference to SpongeBob doing his procrastination episode. But again, it's one of those things that, everybody can relate to, that kind of procrastination, right? You have to do your homework. I think he had homework. He was in some kind of class. And everything around him was distracting him. He'd be like, okay, I'm going to do this. And he'd put his paper and his pencils. And then all of a sudden, there's a book over there. And then there's lunch over there. And then there's video games. And, he just keeps, and the clock is just flying through. And, Rosie, call me Rosie. I'm doing good. I'm having a pretty good go at it, trying to get my services all up and going. So yeah, moving along. I think I'm gonna get rid of. I feel like that's the start game is a redundant service. Feels like it's not supposed to be. Should not be here. You're a pretty Rosie. It's not rosé like the wine. I love me some rosé. Rosé. I don't know if anybody gets that reference. What's Le Petit Prince? Is that a movie reference? TV show reference? Us Americans don't necessarily know the reference to Le Petit Prince. Is that from France? Francais? We are all just down here, and if you don't have a reference to one of our good old American Hollywood movies, it's probably not going to be as good. Get game session. All right. Did I already delete it? Oh, there it is. I lost. I'm dumping this. I don't think I need it. Like I said, this cleanup is going to get all my stuff. I'm breaking stuff by dumping stuff. But what I'm actually thinking is I'm going to change this. French guy. Why is it a stupid book? Is it not good? Hey, SpongeBob is stupid, but that's why he's good. that's what makes him awesome. What am I expecting here? So start game has only, what does start game expect? We have team IDs. Let's look at this. What did this require before I delete it? Don't want to get ahead of myself. All right, so it required, that requires a game ID? Load game session based on session. Set up an initial game session. Game session. Status. Time now. Save to database. Return. Game started successfully using. Yeah, but Really? Huh. Well, see, there you go. There's a SpongeBob for you. It's the French version of SpongeBob. It's SpongeBob is a cartoon made for kids that works for adults. Adults who have a sense of humor. They can see the silliness in the stuff that SpongeBob does. And this is why SpongeBob got so popular. It was such a big hit because he's just one of those things. It's like you can relate to his stupidness. I don't know. I would imagine SpongeBob made it. I mean, he's not that old of a character. Alexa, does SpongeBob still run?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, as of 2020, SpongeBob SquarePants is still airing on the Nickelodeon network, and new episodes are still being produced.
It's kind of funny, the references. As of 2020, it's still being produced. And I'm like, it's been 5 years. Is it still there? Ha! Hey, there's nothing wrong with not growing up. I mean, how grown up do you have to be? You need to be grown up enough to simply do your, meet your responsibilities. Anything beyond that, you don't need to be anymore. I mean, what is grown up after that? Rick and Morty, I don't, my kids like Rick and Morty, but I never could get into it. It's such a weird show. Rick and Morty that is like over the top, but it was popular. I mean, it was so popular that even when it ended, it was so highly demanded that they ended up creating it again. They came back and continued on. SpongeBob got canceled for a little while too, but it came back because it was so popular. And hey, if you can't enjoy a good cartoon, I love cartoons. I'm sorry. Well, not all of them. Some of them are pretty bad. But I go see all the Disney movies that are any good. I watch them on TV. I'll watch them by myself. I'll watch them with my wife. I'll watch them with my kids. My kids don't even like them as much as I do because I think they're fun. I don't have any problem with kid shows as long as they're entertaining and they're not too teachy, because I like them because they're humorous or fun. There's a number of, like, I love the Marvel comic ones generally that are cartoons. Superman is one of my, of course I'm a Superman fan, so of course I watch all the Superman cartoons. And it's really, I don't even know if people call them cartoons anymore, huh? They're animated TV shows or animated movies. Why? I don't know. But they're cartoons. They're all cartoons. But oh yeah, I love that stuff. And I don't feel any need to grow up to the point where that stuff is out of my range. I'm too mature for a cartoon. I am way smarter than anybody who could possibly be watching cartoons. For one, I am not that stuck up. Anybody who's so stuck up as that stuff is beneath me. That's just silly. You're not that mature, buddy. Just because you don't like something or you don't watch something. Anybody who says that, that they're better than people because they like this or that is just silly. Yeah, I think you have to be alive in the 60s in order to be brainwashed in the 60s. That's kind of how that works. Yeah, that's not gonna, that's probably really difficult. Disney and Marvel brainwash program of the 60s. I don't even know what that is. What is a Disney and Marvel? For one, Disney and Marvel were not one of the same in the 60s. You know that, right? I mean, I don't know how old you are. Unless you're less than 3 years old, Disney and Marvel were not always together. Their own Disney owns Marvel now, but Marvel was its own thing for the majority of the last 50 years. All right, start game. All right, so I got to get start game is just creating a session. It does not create a game state. But the question is, what all do I need here? Game ID. So how would I have a game ID without having a game session? And how would I create? How would I have a game ID without a game session? Because you need a game session to get a game ID. Which makes this a really weird request. Yeah, that's just weird. Why would I do that? How would I do that? Now, if I wanted to create a game session, but that would require teams. But you don't create the team. Oi, seriously? I'm not going to answer that. Ariano, I feel like you just try really hard to push buttons. I don't know why. No, I have no interest in Snow White. None at all. None. And trust me, it has nothing to do with the I would have watched a remake of Snow White came out about a year or two ago, and I heard it was actually pretty good, and I didn't watch it, but not because I didn't want to, it just opportunity. Since I have such a wide range of movie interests, I rarely get to watch everything I want to watch. I have a list, but I don't like to go see movies by myself. So it's either with my wife or my friends. My friends are a lot pickier about the shows they watch and than I am, because I'll watch anything. So I don't have, my wife is the only one who'd go see like a Disney style-ish movie with me. But my friends won't, because they're too mature for Disney style movies. They won't go see, unless it's Marvel, because, guys. Guys like superheroes. But Snow White is one that I at best would be able to see with my wife. But Snow White, I do not like what they did. I do not like what they did with it. I have nothing wrong with Ziegler, but I didn't like her approach to the show. I think it's dumb that they rewrote the show. So, we don't want to have women dependent on guys, so we took out a prince. Well, you're not rewriting. In that case, you're not rewriting this. You're not creating the story of Snow White. You're creating some other story with a similar storyline. It's like, how is it a remake of the story if you change the story? To the point where it's like, well, this is not what that story is. Snow White is this story. If you're remaking the Disney one, then it should be like the Disney one. It's supposed to be a live action version of Snow White, not a Snow White variant. I don't like Disney's whole woke agenda where they have to make everything about wokeness. That bothers me. I think it's silly. I mean, I don't have a problem with woke in general, but I don't think every TV show and movie has to be rewritten or recreated or meet this wokeness. That's not the way the world is. So you're trying to make movies and TV shows have this stuff, but that's not the percentages of relationships. So it's all silly to me. I don't like it. I don't like them remaking movies just to meet expectations of some group out there. And I think, look, if you want to remake a movie, and if you want to make a new movie that has all that, fine. That's what that is. That you're creating a movie specific to that setup. It's a whole new thing, its own IP, but don't just start destroying IPs and changing characters completely and well-known, well-loved, very popular IPs and going, oh, well, we're going to take so-and-so and make him this, that, or the other thing, and we're going to take away this because it offends 3% of the population. And it's like, have a thicker skin. Don't watch the show. That's my feeling. If you don't like a show, don't watch it. And let that drive things. Don't just let people say, hey, if you do this, we're going to hate you. And it's not the case. I mean, there's so many movies that would succeed regardless of that very loud and vocal 3%. But they're too afraid because that loud and vocal 3% is saying something. So, as you can guess, there was a lot of people hating on Snow White. A lot of people. And as you can guess, it's bombed. It's doing terrible. And I have no interest in seeing it. Such is me, though. If other people want to see it, feel free. What the heck is going on here? Gotta take this off. All right. Just trying to keep my stuff clean here, so we'll see how that goes. That stream boo is really annoying. I gotta figure out a way to block all that crap. Anyway, where was I? I've given my woke agenda opinion. It's to the extent that that's as much as I'm going to give it. No more time to that subject. It is no longer in my purview. So if we don't have a game ID, I got to figure out how this is going to work. Start game tells simulator to start the game. Start game calls start game, start game. So we still have a game ID. Where is this game ID coming from? Okay, a streamer key is provided instead of a game ID. Look up the game. If both are empty, get simulator client. Look up the game by streamer key. If game info.success, game response. Connect to simulator service, which we already did here. If streamer key is provided instead of game ID, look up the game. So if we're going to the streamer key is not equal to and game ID is equal to, how would I look up the game? Guess I gotta figure out my full flow of how things are running here. Create game. Oh, we got create game right here. Create game creates a new game associated with the creator's user ID. Connect to simulator service. If no streamer key provided, generate a random one. Why would there be no streamer key provided? Huh. Create a new streamer game with the user ID as the creator. Create a new streamer game with the user ID as the creator. That's fine. So it's simulator client.create game. And what is this running through there? Oh, okay. So we're going to pass in the game type. Streamer, yeah. We're going to pass in the streamer key. Yeah, no, not so much. Won't be traveling anytime soon. Let's see, state, creator, user ID. create game request. How do I simplify all of this stuff down to less than all this? Because I create a game just fine with the run game. All I need is create the game. It says, okay, we don't have a game ID, create a new game session. And create game and start game and run game, and some of those just sound like the same thing. So I'm trying to eliminate all the chaff. And I don't want to have a bunch of different things doing basically the same thing. I kind of let AI give me too much junk, and I'm like, okay, AI, it's time to make this not so complicated. Create game creates a new game associated with the user ID, but every game should be associated with the user ID. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Why? How did I end up with that scenario? Create game request. So if I go to the gateway and go look at what my gateway is calling here, go to the streamer. What do I need to make it work? I need it to just call. I just need to have a session. Doesn't have any IDs yet. But that would create a game with IDs. Now, I have multiple options. If I have a league, I may have a team. I'll have both teams but no game. And that would work. So really, creating a session is like a basic thing. So I create the game session is not the same as creating a full-on game with game state. So that would be a create game scenario. It's not starting the game, but it is creating the game. So there's going to be a lot of, I'm going to have to clean up a lot of stuff when I'm done here, because I'm getting rid of all of the garbage, and I'm going to end up with orphaned calls and stuff, which are probably not going to work. Probably going to have to be deleted. But that means my streamer, the first thing that happens when you go to the streamer, you click, it creates a game session so that I can assign teams to it. So create game is fine. And start game is definitely not going to be needed. If streamer key is provided and set a game ID, look up the game, we get the game. Why would we ever, if we have a start command, honestly, I don't even know if I want to go through the streamer after that. I think once the game is started, the streamer may handle inputs, but we're not really, we're no longer there. Because creating a streamer game is just going to create these kind of the setup screen where you're going to add teams to the game. So we're going to have a create game. Create game creates a new game associated with the creator's user ID, which is fine. It's just which will go to the simulator client's create game, which again, I'm not totally sure what that's going to do, because we just create a session. So unless create game in the simulator client is a session creator, And then start game's going to take is going to come in, and that's just going to be, it's like I'm going through the streamer service to start the game, which I don't really need to do. Because once I reroute to the, because there's a point where I'll reroute to the new service, which is going to immediately kick off the game. Because simulator immediately kicks off the game. You just provide the ID to the simulator. Simulator takes that ID, and then it starts making requests to run the game. Because the request just starts the game. There's no pause or start. I have that. It's going to go run the game. So I don't think I need this at all. That's going to go away. I will have calls. It'll call the run game because the simulator is going to run the game. We'll have an ID, or we'll have the teams. We'll have both. So really all I need to do is create the initial game session so that I can add teams to the session. Okay, so yeah, I think that's how we're going to do it. And join game is probably the teams. Join game tells simulator to add a team to the game. So yeah, we have that, which will add teams to the game. We have, and then create game is probably fine because it's going to create a basic session. I just want to make sure that what create game is doing and what run game is doing or start game is doing are not the same. But start game is going to be the first command that's coming from the actual simulation, which streamer doesn't have any aspect or input to that. This is all the stuff necessary just to get going. And so we create game, we add teams, and then the front end will reroute it once it has both teams, and that'll trigger the start. So we don't have a thing here. Okay, so I think we're good. Create game creates a new game. So let's see what the user ID. Yeah. All right, let's try that. Which means on my streamer side, on the gateway, I have to go to streamer.go. And we have game status endpoint, set team, start game. What is start called? Is that even called? Does that even exist on the front end? Huh, doesn't even exist. I don't even call that anywhere. Funny. Okay, let's get rid of that. I'm pretty sure I don't have a streamer reset either. Tire solution, how come that's not showing up? All right, wait, let's make sure. I did expect to see set team. So if that's not here, actually, why would set team be called from here? Oh, set team is called from, set team's called from another place. That's why. That's not part of, it's not inside. But this one calls game status. Oh, it does call set team. Oh, it's streamer. All right, let's see. I'll try this. Okay, so start game is not, it's still not in there. But we got set team and we have create and game status are all good. I don't think I'm going to have a reset. I don't know what the reset purpose's life is, but I'm getting rid of that too. Why would I reset a game? I don't understand that. It's like, I don't like the way this one started. Let's reset. Now this is going to be used by some stuff. Pending commands, mark process. I don't even know what that is. Probably get it out of the buffer. Create is going to call create streamer game handler. Reset game handler, buffer play. I've only got 30 minutes for my midday break. I gotta keep working here. All right, so let's go back over to streamer, service, add team. I'm getting rid of that reset thing. Getting rid of this start thing. Getting rid of this reset thing. Go to stored. Those guys aren't defined here, are they? Get. Okay. Still feel like I got more here than it's supposed to. That's things that aren't, they don't actually exist, but at least I'm getting rid of the garbage. I have garbage in, now garbage needs to get out. Was garbage in, now garbage out. All right. All right, so we have create game, but the question is, do I want create game to be here? Get game session. Get game session returns as the current game session. Let's just delete that. So we have this. Add team to game. Yeah. Keep your existing calculations method. I don't know what that is. Calculate yards gained. This is my dummy code, but it does randomly crap. This isn't my calculate turnovers. I don't know how that got calculated, but the AI decided to do some calculation turnovers of its own. I don't know how it did that. These are some pretty high chances, I think. Long pass. That's like 1 in 10 long passes almost has a chance of being a turnover. AI's like, yeah, we'll give that one a high chance. It's like, is it really that high? 1 in 10. That's a lot of, I mean, long. Okay, so a team doesn't throw that many long passes, so yeah, it's maybe higher if you're doing percentages, but yeah, I don't. Eventually, my stuff's going to all be calculated on a lot of other very small minutia, but I think that's kind of interesting. Generate play descriptions, which I will do somehow. I haven't figured out how my play descriptions are going to be done, so I might use this. At the very least, the function will be used. Get team position. Team position. What is a team's position? Position in what? Helper method for a team position, and it's going to go game session 1 and game session ID equals team 1. Oh, whether they're team 1 or team 2. That's interesting. But, oh, because you can't get the name? Right now, team 1 and team 2, that's true. So how is that? I guess we're just linking them. So if team 1 is team 1, we're getting text to determine if they're team 1 or team 2. I guess that's helpful. They should never be an unknown. This actually, honestly, if we get to an unknown, that's an error. We got to blow up, because if you got a team that's not a team 1 or team 2, that's a problem. Hopefully, we never get to that state. Some third team walked onto the field and started messing with everybody. Hey, where did this team come from? I don't know, man, but we don't know how to keep track. They think they're on offense. No, but we got 2 offensive teams and a defensive team. How does that work? Update game state with play results. Oh, this is more random to go with my data. Like I said, I don't know. I'm debating if I even want to update this random stuff. I'm thinking I might. I really want my code to work, test it in POC, but I'd almost just feel like, why waste my time on updating this proof of concept crap when I should just go and start working on the actual back end logic where the players and everything starts to work. Because this is going to take time to make this do stuff. I'm setting random values. I'm doing all these things. And yeah, I can make it do like the front end's doing, but why? Why would I? It just seems like I'm going to be wasting time on that. I've already done the POC. Now it's time to start having it return real data. And that means I just got to really start working on that. Create game creates a new game session with the specified creator. So now the question is, does create game, which should just create a game session, creates a new game session. It doesn't have anything else. Its sole purpose is a session. No state, no nothing. Create a new game with the generated ID. Create a new game with a generated ID. Create a new game state. Game state. That's not creating a game state, that's creating a game session. So we have pending, which I should probably change this. That's supposed to be capital, because everything needs to be capital, because that's the only way I can reference them syntactically. All right, so we create. I'm just trying to see, how is this different from? Yeah, this is just a session. So if we already have a session, then we got to add team to a session, which is going to be another step. All right. It's kind of like a half. It's like we create the game, but we don't have teams yet. So we have like, hey, we're about to play a game. Who wants to play? So it's like we haven't actually got a game yet. And that's what the streamer stuff is all about. But why would we get key game by streamer key when we should have a game ID at that point? I should, right now, my streamer key and my user ID are the same, and I'm going to have to change that at some point. eventually the streamer key is going to be something way more complex than just the user ID. User ID is too basic. Not support. Not supported. Whatever that means. My phone is ringing. All right. Where do we go here? So we got start game, which is no longer run game, because it's just really creating the game. It's almost like initialize game. I thought I had a thing called initialize game. I don't know where that get. I must have replaced that already. Simulator. Initialize game rules. Then my. Oh, that's the web. Oh, that's the web stuff there. Okay. So start game. And start game, I guess that is start. It's just going to set everything. And really all we need for this one to function is a game ID. Because if game ID equals nothing, we're going to create the game. Which means I got to get rid of this. Because we already know the game ID will be nothing. So really the request Yes, I've heard of Renee Zellweger. And she didn't always have a weird face. She actually was fine looking for a while, but she's had plastic surgery and she messed her face up. Yeah, she does look kind of weird now. But if you see some of her older movies, she looks fine. I mean, no more awkward than any other movie person. She always kind of had a weird voice, though. I always remember her having kind of a whiny voice, kind of an awkward voice. I thought was one thing she's always had. So if game ID is not coming from that, but I don't have a game ID, why would we need the game ID? Yeah, I don't think I need any of this. Now, get next play results. Needs game state, and I have a get the latest game state, which should be the game state that's on there. Assuming one's been created, game session should have at least one, because I think we create an initial game state when we load it up right here. Alright. So really all I need here is the offensive ID and the team ID, and I don't need game state anymore. Could probably take that out, because we're going to build a game state here and start the game. You like that movie, huh? People said it was scary. I did not get it. Like, it was okay. It was not that scary. It was, I've heard the name Naomi Watts. I don't remember. I don't know which one she was. So if we have the teams and we had a game session, when we come in here, we still need to start the game, but we're just going to take the team ID and it'll come back and get that session, which will have the teams associated to it. So we just need to have team IDs that come back from that session. Okay. So really this run game request, I mean, I could use it for both. I suppose one will use the ID. One will use the game state. Why don't, okay, so if I'm getting the game state off of here though, why do I need, I don't need the game state to come as part of the request. Ah, no, never mind. I do. Because I forgot I'm passing back, possibly passing back values. But if I'm passing back values in that run state, if I'm passing back values in that game state, thing is, I think when I send back stuff with the run game request, it's not actually a game state. It's just a version of the game state. Unless I can set the pointer. If it's truly a reference. Yeah, but would that work? Because if my service isn't on the system and it's going back to the client, can't have a pointer. Why are you asking me if I remember all these people? I don't even know if I've ever seen a Steve McQueen movie. I know who Steve McQueen is or was, but I am aware of him. I think he was killed in a motorcycle accident or something, wasn't he? I feel like you're leading into a, what do Renee Zellweger, Naomi Watts, and Steve McQueen have in common? They were all actors in movies? It's like, well, besides acting. Renee Zellweger, Naomi Watts, Steve McQueen walk into a bar. The bartender says, "What will it be?" Alright, so that's going to create my game session if it doesn't exist. But we will have a game ID. Epstein Island? Didn't Steve McQueen die like in the 70s or something? You don't know who Epstein was? I can't remember his first name for some reason. Michael Epstein? Something like that? Paul? I don't know. Two totally unrelated first names. But, or maybe he was a director. He was a director that, I don't know though. I don't think I still think my Steve McQueen he died forever ago. I don't know if he was on Epstein Island. Now, I don't know, Naomi Watts and Renee Zellweger might have been, but I don't know any of that storyline. I think Epstein was, I don't know, he was a predator or something. He got in trouble. I know that. I know he ended up he was either being sued, went to prison, was tried to go to prison. I don't know. Something. There was some story with him. I'm terrible with that news. I don't follow a lot of the day-to-day junk news. I'm blissfully unaware of all that stuff. Again, if I can't do nothing about it, I don't want it because I don't want to be angry about it. It's like, why make myself mad? I can't remember. You'll have to look it up. Google it. He was not a great guy, and apparently, so people who have associated with him get looked down upon. It's a lot like what is this, P. Diddy? Anybody who hung out with P. Diddy is considered to be, criminal because they hung out with P. Diddy. I don't know how many of them did the stuff that P. Diddy was accused of, but they say, well, if you went to his party, you were one of his, you were complacent in it, you were okay with it, so you were just as bad as he was, I guess. I don't know. That's how it works. But, I would imagine if things are going on at a party, you probably did know about it. Even if you didn't partake, you probably knew about it. It's hard not to know. All right, I gotta figure out my flow here. All right, so if I got start game, we got streamer goes and starts game. We already have a session. In that scenario, we come in here, but we still need the initial state of the game. In which case I need to know if I create a session, see, I'm wondering if I should just run start game. Why do I have to create a session stop? I don't have teams yet, but I can always add teams. They don't have to exist. I hope they do in order to call this function because it needs them. This function needs team IDs. But if we already have a game session, we need to use that. But that should be called here. Retrieve the game session from the database. In which case we already have that, but we still have to set the teams. No, do we? If we run start game, we already have teams if the session already exists from a streamer game because we've added the teams. It's like it's a two-part thing. It's like we either have... And do I want to have it that way? Okay, so what a streamer game is doing is a streamer game creates a session and then adds teams and then moves on to start game. But if you're not doing a streamer game, you just go straight into a game. You have start game, and you have the teams already. So it's kind of like, there you are, you're doing your start game. You have your teams, you have your new game, but you don't have a session yet. So it's got to go, all right, start game comes in here, creates a session, adds those teams to the session, and runs the game. So I think what the problem is, the disconnect that I'm having here is that I want my functions to do one thing, and since I'm already with a streamer game, I create a session that's empty. I should probably do that first. So when I go into a new game, I create the session, I add teams, then I start the game, giving you your default game session. So that's going to be the get new game session is what's happening here. But I want to break that up. That's what I think I need to do. Get new game session needs to be broken up. I need to take it out of here is what needs to happen. And then I need to grab the game session when I come in here, because I will have the ID, or I will have the option of having the ID. If start game, so what I should probably do is come into start game and go, do I have a, all right, let's do that. I think we're going to call this run game, just like it was. And then we're going to go here. And then we'll have func as service. Start game. And start game. Create a new game session in the store. No, start game is going to be simpler than that. The only thing start game needs to do is check if we have a game ID or not. So we're going to have a context. We'll just go string. No. Game ID. That's lowercase, I guess. Game ID. And we'll just say string. And this will return game session. Probably don't want this extra S though. And then here we're just going to go if game ID equals nada. No, if it equals nada, then we're going to do this. Otherwise, this would be else. And then this one's going to say use existing game ID is provided. Game session error. Get game by ID. All right, there you go. That actually knew the exact thing I wanted to do. Oops. New game session. Get game by ID. Okay, so that's perfect. Oh, did I need to put that on? Then we go return new game session. Nope. New game session. And this is supposed to return game session, right? Yeah, game session. So if these are both returning a game session and we have a game session, maybe I have to have this be star. Nope. Something like that. Is it PB? Nope. All right, well, I'm syntactically off a little here. I'll figure that in a minute. I have no response to any of that. So just gonna have to let that one go by. Okay, so if we have that, then the start game can I wonder if I should be, so if I have, we have the get new game session, which is already going to do game session. It's going to create it. Otherwise, we have this, and then we're going to go in here and we're going to set the teams, set up teams, converting team IDs to team details. And this will return. So now I have a game, I will have a game ID now when I come in here. So the question is, do I read it from the game state? We should have run game request. Game request. So if I have, I don't know if I want the game state, but I feel like I need information back. But I don't need all of it back. The only thing I should have a need for is the game ID and whether or not we have clock situations. I think that's all I need. And so why do I need the entire game state back? I don't think I need any of that. If they've already got the team set, we're going to convert the team IDs to team details. And then those get set here. So I need to look up my game session, which is going to have to be the same thing here. Man, this is kind of a pain because it's just like getting this cleaned up into a flow that doesn't have me doing anything duplicative. I don't want multiple functions doing the same thing. That's the goal. One function does what that function does, and every other function that needs that done goes to the original function. It'll just make it so much easier in the long term. Like this does this and this does that. And I think what I need this to do is this is going to be my start the game, which is basically going to make sure that we have a game session, whatever the game is. But how do we have a game ID? Oh, so we don't necessarily. If we don't have it, we create it. If we do have it, we go get it. And now we have a game ID. At that point, we will do the run game, which will pass in a game ID, and we'll associate whatever we need to, but we have to call it at a point. So this is going to need to have the team IDs and the game ID, so I can just get that. So this is almost like kickoff, and then this is everything else. And this one's going to all have, it has offensive and defensive team IDs, but I don't think I need it because we should all have that just from the game ID. And again, it's coming back with game state, but I don't think I need all that. And this is the only one that's going to matter. Ultimately, I'm going to change my run game request. Run game request doesn't need to have all that crap in it. I think that's where this is breaking down. Run game request. I think I'm actually going to change this. It's going to be called run play response. Oh, run play request. And this is going to be run play response. Oh, I can't. Oh, God. What am I doing? How about this? Get next play response. Get next play request. That's different because running a play is different from getting the play. It's supposed to be result, but I don't want to say get next play result request. That's too much. You get the drift. I think I understand what it's going to be, just keeping it short. All right, so what this actually needs for me to get the next play, all I need is a game ID. I'm going to pass in certain information that's going to be relevant to the app. So it's game ID. And then the two values that I need to have from the host is time. I think it's, oops. Quarter time. And bool delay of game. And this is an int. And then we're going to send back a game session, which is going to have the game state, but we're going to also separate the... Do I want to pass a game state separate from the game session? It's part of the game session. I don't think so. I'm going to... Theoretically, I don't need to send any of this stuff back. Yeah, I don't need any of this stuff. I could simplify this because it all comes in the game session. I thought about sending them back as separate because they're easier to grab. Just grab the team ID. But I could just read it because all this is game session.team1 and game session.team2 and game session.gamestate 0. No, it would have to be max. No, that's why I don't want to do it. So I don't want to have to read for the max game state in the game session. That's why I want to send back the game state, because I want the latest one to be automatically defined. So yeah, we'll leave that. I think we're good. Game session, game state, and we'll have, oh, these two can go away. But the state has to be separate because I don't want to be, I want to just set them as separate objects. And then I can deal with these. All right. So now I think that's all I need. do a make gen here. Probably gonna have to make more. I have a feeling there's gonna be a lot of things I need to clean up. Oh, run game request, run game response. Whoops. Oh, I do not. Run game request. That's what I'm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Run game response. Run. Where are they? Proto 11. Oh. One game request. Oops. There we go. Clean that mess up. I don't have a reset game anymore, so I can dump that. Are there reset pieces too that I can get rid of? Simulator, reset, reset, and reset. Yeah, these are going away. Okay, time's up. 11:10. Time for me to. Sure. All right. Well, you have a good one. Till next time. Thanks for joining in. I will be back this afternoon, probably trying to get some more progress. If I don't just decide to fix it off.